All right, friends, let's go ahead and get started with our first virtual family engagement session of the coming new school year. We're so excited for the new year to soon begin. Friends, as you came into the session, you'll probably notice that your cameras and microphones are off. That's okay. We've got so many people who are going to be a part of tonight's session that just to make sure that the computers can all run, that things don't get bogged or slowed down, we've just changed it so you don't have to worry about having your cameras or microphones on. But I still want to hear from you. Make sure you're putting your questions in the chat. If you have questions, make sure to put them in the chat and we'll be trying to answer those as best possible. With so many people, there might be a lot of questions, so we'll try to get as many answers as possible for you tonight. Well, friends, welcome to this first virtual family engagement super session of the new year. It's our super session because it involves our superintendent, Dr. Talisa Dixon. We are so excited for the new school year because as a district, we are all in to make sure that our students have a successful school year. And we hope that families and students are all in for that success as well. Tonight's virtual family engagement session is going to really focus in on what you as parents need to know for that first day of school. And then we're going to talk to you about some future sessions to give you more information so that we are helping our young people be successful. As I mentioned, this year we are about being all in. Reminder that our students will be all in the classroom, kind of moving away from the model from last year. And we want them to be all in every day. Attendance is so important, especially in those first few weeks of school. And to make sure that our students are successful, our teachers, our staff, our principals, our administrators, we're all in to make sure that we are doing all we can to help you. Friends, I always ask in these virtual family engagement sessions as we try to share information, as we try to answer your questions, help us exercise a bit of grace. What does that mean? Well, like I said, we're going to give everybody an opportunity to voice their opinion. Make sure you're putting those thoughts, those questions in the chat, and we're going to try to get to them. Help us try to remain positive. We know back to school can be a stressful time for our young people and for many of us, but together, if we can remain positive about this and have kind of a productive conversation. Hey, we'll acknowledge when we don't have an answer. You may ask a question for us and we may not have the answers right away, but actually I think with the team we have tonight, we'll be able to get most of your answers. We're going to be considerate and respectful of your time. We've got a lot of information to share. Almost 400 of us in this session tonight. So we're going to try to move through and be done within our hour because boy, that last point there, friends, every one of us, we're all in this together. And together, we're going to make sure that our students have a successful school year starting in just a little over a week. So tonight, here's our plan tonight. We want to share with you an important message from our superintendent. I know she is excited about back to school and seeing all of our young people again. We hope to hear from our partners at Nationwide Children's Hospital as we think about making sure that we have a healthy environment for our young people and for our staff. Then we're going to talk about some of the academic priorities for this school year. We'll touch upon transportation. I know a lot of you have questions about busing. We'll also talk about our teams and our cafeterias. They are ready and all in to make sure our young people are getting healthy meals each day. And then we're going to get to our principals. Our principals are going to share the preparations that they have at some of their buildings. And then I'm going to preview the next sessions coming up. So with that, I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen so that we can hear from our superintendent, Dr. Talisa Dixon. And Dr. Dixon, I know we are all in and all excited for the school year that will soon begin.
Yes, thank you and good evening to all of our families. I first want to start by saying thank you. Thank you for trusting Columbus City Schools with your students. I don't take for granted that there are many other places that you could choose to educate your students, but you chose Columbus City Schools, and for that, I am grateful. Know that as we start this new school year, it's a new beginning. It's a fresh new start. And that's what's so exciting about a new school year. It's one of my most famous holidays, right? The first day of school, to see all the excitement from our students and staff and all the hard work that our administrators have done behind the scenes to make sure our students have a wonderful experience. So thank you for joining us. You're going to get so much information tonight. We're just grateful that we've assembled a dynamic team of experts to answer the many questions that you may have. So thank you again. We're all in CCS, and we're all in CCS because of you and your student. Thank you so much. I pass it back to you, Scott.
Thank you, Dr. Dixon. We are excited about the first day of school, and our district is committed to try to make sure that families and partners all have as much information as possible. So new this school year is our redesigned website. We've tried to make it more accessible for everyone to find the information they need. So much of what you're going to hear tonight is also available on our website. So make sure you're taking time to visit our website to find the information that you need. So make sure that you're going to there to get as much information as possible. Now, someone always reminded me that sometimes you need to make sure you cover your bases and the basics. So as we think about the start of school, let's just remind everybody, school starts next Thursday, August 26th. This is our traditional calendar. So other than our one year-round school, Woodcrest Elementary, which is already back, all of our schools, all 109 of them, are starting on Thursday, August 26th. So I hope everyone on this call already had that date circled numbers of times so that you know. A reminder, our high schools and middle schools, classes are from 7:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon. Elementary, we start at 9 a.m. and go to 3:30 p.m. Good reminders. Now, some of you, I know that there are young people who are so excited to get back. I've been at some of those buildings and they'll show up like an hour before classes begin. Many of our buildings will not open their doors till about a half hour before, or maybe even 15 minutes before. So make sure that you check with your building before you drop off your young person. Make sure you check with your building before you come to pick them up so that you are there at the right time to pick up your young person. There also will be different procedures at each building as to where you pull in, pull out, where a young person walks in and walks out. So check with your building, but those are the times. Let's make sure all of our young people are in those seats and ready to go at 7:30 and at 9 a.m. Now, we know as we think about this school year that we are all at top of mind thinking about how we are keeping our young people safe and healthy, especially as we think about the impacts of the continued concerns about COVID-19 and the Delta variant we all hear about. So let me just cover a couple of reminders about our health and safety protocols, and then we're going to ask our great friends and partners from Nationwide Children's Hospital to kind of share more information about those protocols, but also those things that they do to help support and maintain the health of our young people. So a reminder that in all of our buildings, masks will be required for all students on the bus and in our buildings, whether they've had a vaccination or not. All students on the bus and in our buildings will need to wear a mask. That's also true of our staff. So all staff in school buildings, as well as our administrative sites, will be wearing a mask, whether or not we've had a vaccination. We're going to be working on that 3 feet of social distancing between students where practical. Water fountains, we're not going to be using those. We're going to have those continued reminders about hand washing and sanitizer use. I think we got to the point last year, our young people were reminding us as they came in, hey, I need that hand sanitizer before I go to class. So I know our young people know these and have really embraced these protocols. And as a reminder, our visitors are going to be restricted to our parents and guardians. You are welcome in our buildings, as well as our support partners. You're all going to be required to wear a mask too. We want to make sure that everyone is masked up when they come in. But parents, those support partners that are there during the school day, we want to make sure they're there because we know the importance of having young people in the classroom, the services that we can provide, the ways our teachers interact with them. Now, as we have looked at these safety and health protocols, we've really valued the input of our great partners, the pediatric experts over at Nationwide Children's Hospital. And Dr. Sarah Bodie, she is joining us tonight to really share more about the partnership that we have, but then also kind of remind us about those protocols and the importance of masking up at all ages. Dr. Bodie?
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Very excited to be here with you guys today. First, I just wanted to go through some background and updates that went behind these decisions to both get back to all in and thinking about what our health and safety protocols are. So, one thing I will say is that we do have a group of experts at Nationwide Children's Hospital that includes myself and my partners in infectious disease that are reviewing this ongoing data every day, every week. We participate both at a local level and a national level to help think about what are the policies and the things we need to emphasize for kids back in our region and around the country. And so a couple things I wanted to highlight. One is we actually learned a lot this past school year with our both virtual models, our hybrid models, the back-end models that some schools did, and really taking a look at the health and safety protocols that were put in place and what happened, what did that do for our students? And what we found that in the controlled school setting, when we were able to put these mitigation measures in place, all of those things Scott just talked about with the distancing, the hand washing, the masking, that we really were able to protect our students from not transmitting the COVID-19 virus during the school day in the classrooms. And so that was a lot of successful new information we were able to garner. The other thing we know is that the Delta variant is the new variant for COVID. And the things that we've learned about that is that it has caused, of course, like a second spike or increase in cases in our communities. We've seen that across the country, and we've seen that locally here in Franklin County too. That Delta variant can cause some increased transmission of the virus from person to person if they're not using those safety protocols. The actual disease or what it manifests in kids is still the same as it was. So again, just to state that most children fare very well with COVID-19. They don't tend to have severe symptoms, but of course that's not zero. There is a risk there, and we want to make sure that our students are safe. And so we really feel strongly at the Academy of Pediatrics and all of the other institutions that two things need to happen. One is we have to get our kids back all in. They desperately need this in-person 5-day-a-week instruction. It's so important. It's important for their education first and foremost, but for us, it's important for their health too. Their social emotional health, all the things that they are learning in the school setting, the different supports that we offer your students at school. And so that's priority number one. And right alongside that, priority number two is keeping them safe while they're there. And so we've worked really hard to partner with Columbus City Schools to develop these health and safety protocols to make sure we can accomplish both of those things. So one of the things that we're doing is universal masking. It's a recommendation from health departments, from the Academy of Pediatrics, from all your institutions that are following this data, and Columbus City Schools has made that good decision to do universal masking for students at this point so that we can keep everyone safe, whether or not you've been vaccinated. The second thing is vaccination. So we know only kids that are 12 and older can get the COVID vaccine, but we would strongly recommend that that's something that you consider as a family if you haven't already, getting your child vaccinated for COVID. We have a lot of opportunities in your community, both at school settings, in our school health services where we're offering the COVID vaccine in our clinics, as well as at your local pediatrician's office. So lots of opportunities to get your kids the COVID vaccine. And that also, again, can't stress enough, is such a highly protective way to make sure that we're not having COVID outbreaks at school. The other thing I want to mention is there are other vaccines that kids get, and many of us may have not been to the pediatrician in the past year and a half due to COVID. We haven't needed that back to school shots yet because maybe that wasn't required last year when you were home and doing virtual learning. But it's really important as we get back to all in that your students really get back connected to those health services to make sure they're getting everything else they need. One of the things we want to avoid is a different type of outbreak, right? Not COVID, but measles, pertussis, those other illnesses that we vaccinate for. And so making sure that your 7th grader has their vaccines, the kindergartner has those kindergarten shots. Again, so many things that we can do. In addition to that, kids may feel a little anxious about coming back into school. They've been home. A lot of our routines have been disrupted. I know in my household with my 3 kids, just getting back on a routine and a schedule and up in the morning and having that whole day and good sleep at night is something that's been a little bit off, right? Particularly over this summer. And so getting us all back in. And if your child is feeling anxious about this, it's another opportunity for you to see your pediatrician or come see us at our school clinics to really kind of talk about how can we support your student through this start of the school year. What do they need? What are the resources we have? And we can really connect them to a lot of different resources for both their physical health, but their mental health as well as they're navigating this back in school setting. I saw a few questions in there about health and safety protocols as it relates to, for example, lunchtime or activities outside recess where you might have masks off. And so we can give you all of the details of those. We have multiple layers of mitigation, right? And so if there's a time where one of those layers is gone, so for example, at lunch, of course, that's when you don't have your mask on because you're sitting there eating. And so that's when we need to make sure that we're maximizing those other things. So that's when we would want to ensure we're having that 3 feet of distancing, that it's a controlled setting in the lunchroom. The Columbus City School staff across the board has done a really incredible job about thinking through every single detail and part of the day, even from hallway time to recess time to lunchtime. So just to know that there are protocols in place to make sure that we are, having those safe measures all the way throughout the school day, from the time they get dropped off to the time that they're getting off the bus or getting picked up by you at the end of the day. And so that's why those layers are there. Again, universal masking, such an important mitigation measure that we're putting into place. The distancing and making sure that we're really doing that, particularly in those high-risk situations, but then throughout the day as well. As Scott mentioned, the sanitation of surfaces that our staff is doing at Columbus City Schools, as well as hand sanitizers for our students, all things that we're going to continue to be doing this school year to make sure we're safe. And then the last thing I'll say is that we continue to watch this right alongside you. So we pull the data, we look at what's happening with COVID, we look at these variants actually on a daily basis to really think about, what is happening as our children are getting back into school. And so as new information comes out, then that will be shared with you and with our community to take a look at what are we seeing, and does that mean we have to change any of the things that we're doing right at this time. But I feel really confident that you have a good plan in place to both get back to in-person learning and be safe while you're doing that.
Dr. Bodie, thank you so much for sharing that. You covered so many of those important health protocols, reminding us that that's a layer effect, that even though, we want as many people as possible to have that vaccine, for those who don't, we've got those other protocols in place, especially for our younger students. So really appreciate that. And we appreciate that continued partnership between the district and Nationwide Children's Hospital. You've been with us side by side the entire time.
One additional thing I just wanted to mention that came to me, I skipped out on, is what is the best mask for your child? Like, which one is the one that you should do? And there's so many different kinds, and what does that mean? And really, when we look at masks across the board, the best mask for your student is the one that fits well, that they actually like and leave on, right? So that they are compliant with throughout the day. So it doesn't matter if it's a particular brand or style, it matters that it fits over their nose and their mouth, it doesn't gape open, or it's not, incredibly too large for their face, and that they are comfortable in it, and so that they're able to keep that on. So again, you do not need to get special masks or N95 masks or KN95 masks or any of that for students. So those regular masks work well. Again, those are what has been studied in schools around the country for this past year and has really worked well to, again, provide a safe environment to prevent that in-class transmission if there does happen to be a student that comes to school and develops symptoms and gets sick from COVID.
Thank you, Dr. Bodie. We really appreciate it. And again, friends, all of this information is on our website. So if you have specific questions or want to have a little more information about those protocols, make sure that you're looking on our website, and we've spelled it out all there. Now, friends, as I keep watching the chat, I know there are a lot of questions coming. We're going to try to answer a lot of them, but we also know that we're not going to be able to get to all of them. If after our hour, there are some questions that, boy, still pressing in your mind that we didn't answer, we're going to put in the chat a link to a Google form. Use that as a way to submit those additional questions that we may have missed. And we're going to try to help answer all those questions because we want everybody to be ready for that first day of school. Okay, let's move on to thinking about the academic priorities. Now that we've kind of talked through those things that we have in place to keep our young people healthy and safe, let's get focused in on why we've got them all there, and that's those academic priorities. And I'm excited to introduce our Chief Academic Officer, Kira Schloenbach, to really kind of help us think about those high-level academic priorities for this new school year.
Thank you so much, Scott. And I am so excited to be here tonight. I'm feverishly monitoring the chat as I can. So I put my email in there and I'll put it in again. Please reach out with any specific questions. I'm going to introduce Ms. Kelly Rivers, who's going to talk us through some of our academic priorities and also some preschool and special education priorities. But I just wanted to say that we are thrilled to welcome all of our Columbus City School students back again. We're excited to start this year. We know we're going to prioritize rigorous instruction. We're going to prioritize inclusive practices, and we're really going to focus on accelerating and extending the learning for our students, because the pandemic did have an impact on our students, and it's going to be years before we fully understand what that means, but we're focused on all the needs of your students. A whole child focus, and we have really great expectations for our teachers and our students, and we're excited to welcome everyone back. So I appreciate being here. Thank you so much, Scott. And Kelly, please take it away.
All right, thank you, Kara. Well, good evening, everyone. I am going to talk about what our charges are as we open up this new school year. We're excited about the new school year. So our first priority is that we want to open up safe, inclusive learning environments in all of our communities. We know that all students benefit by working in the learning process amongst their peers in classrooms every day. We also will have a guaranteed and viable curriculum for all of our students. We commit to provide high quality instruction that is applicable and engaging for each and every one of our kids. We will take immediate action to respond to our students' needs so that learning loss is mitigated and learning acquisition is accelerated. With the resiliency of our students, our teachers, staff, we will think innovatively about providing our students opportunities to exponentially increase their learning, and we know that this is possible. We are all in and excited to embrace a new school year with intentional focus on these three target areas. I will also talk about our schedule for early childhood. So I see that there were a lot of questions in regards to kindergarten and pre-K. So I want to clarify this, and I will also put that information in the chat. So staggered start for pre-K is September 7th and September 8th. That depends on your child's teacher in terms of what day your student will attend. So please contact your child's pre-K teacher for their attendance date on that staggered start date. All pre-K students will report, however, on September 9th, 2021. So we look forward to seeing you. You will also get an ECE calendar that will break our non-attendance days down for you so that you can prepare for the school year. Finally, the staggered start for kindergarten students is August 26th, 27th, and 30th. These are based upon appointments for assessment. So again, you need to contact your child's kindergarten teacher about what your appointment-based assessment and orientation, what time that will be. Then all kindergarten students will report on August 31st. That's all I have, so I will turn it back over to Scott.
Thank you, team, for really kind of sharing that vision of kind of the academic priorities and really those things that we're going to be focused on as a district. So some quick reminders, and feel free to kind of add in. I know that a lot of our schools will be hosting an open house, so you'll be able to work with the principal to find out when that is. But Ms. Rivers, will you remind us all about Chromebooks? What's every young person need to know about their Chromebook?
Absolutely. So every one of our kiddos needs to know that you need to have that Chromebook charged and ready to go. That is our lifeline. We are looking forward to utilizing technology in our classrooms every day. So it's critical that you charge those Chromebooks and come to school prepared, just like that sharpened pencil or having your crayons in your book bag.
Perfect. Thank you for reminding us. Now, let's switch gears a little bit, friends. We're thinking about, we've thought about what we're going to do in the classroom, but I know there are always a lot of questions about how we get to the classroom and making sure that our young people have that safe transportation each day that they need in order to get to and from school and home. And so I want to thank our friends in transportation for being here and kind of sharing a little bit more information about what you can expect about transportation. Rob Weinheimer is the head of transportation. And Rob, tell us what our families should know and can expect.
Thank you, Scott. Good evening, everybody. And thank you, Dr. Dixon, for the energetic introduction, because your friends in transportation are equally as excited. So thank you, families, for giving us this opportunity to be able to serve your children in the upcoming school year. Your drivers, I've seen many of them because now is route selection time. And the common theme is we're ready to get back. We're ready to see our kiddos. And it's great. I love walking in the hall of our bid routes and seeing our drivers with positive frame of mind and coming back to school. So with that said, safety is our #1 priority. And we are still practicing some COVID protocols on the buses. So here they are. Students and transportation employees must wear masks while they're on board, just like Scott alluded to earlier. And just like last year, we expect your student to bring a mask with you or with them, excuse me. But if they don't have one with them for that day, we'll provide one. Also, hand sanitizer will be in the touchless dispensers at the front of the bus. When they get on and off the bus, they can get a squirt of hand sanitizer, and our buses will be disinfected daily. CCS route information will be coming out very, very soon. If you haven't received it yet, it will be hitting your mailboxes in the coming days. So we were taking crates and crates and crates of mailers out to the post office. We're becoming very good friends with our local post employees as they see mailer after mailer coming. So I know everyone's anticipating your information. It will be there soon. And just some basic reminders. We ask that students arrive about 10 minutes early to the bus stop, and that parents wait with their students at that stop for at least the first few days. It's a best practice to be with your kiddo if you can, and walk with them to the bus stop. Show them, the right way to get there. Show them the potential, crossing. If they have to, go to the sidewalk, walk over, and then just say hi to your bus driver when the bus driver comes by, because we want to be your friend and be an advocate for your child. So, and also in the afternoon, please write down or text your child their afternoon bus number. So when they're at school, they have a little reminder, a little piece of paper that they know where and what bus to get on in the afternoon. And finally, please remind your students that the bus is an extension of the classroom and their behavior should match accordingly. So our bus drivers' job is for safe transportation, and we don't want any undue distractions in the back. So if we can practice good behavior on the bus, that just means good things for everybody. And I have to give a huge shout out to our transportation team. They have been working diligently for the past 6 to 10 weeks to getting transportation in a place that we can bring all eligible transportation kiddos back on a yellow bus. So I saw some questions in the chat. Yes, we transport pre-K kiddos, but they have to have transportation marked in their IEP. And we are transporting kindergartners through 12th grade. As long as they're eligible, you're routed to a bus. And that's my report, Scott.
Thank you for sharing that. And a couple of things I want to make sure our families heard tonight. So that mailer that you typically get each year that has your bus stop, the pickup time, drop off time, that's going to be coming soon to mailboxes, correct?
Yes, I'm muted. Yes, sir. It is coming to mailboxes very, very soon, the next coming few days, honestly.
And friends, the other place to look for, it's going to be in the parent portal. And did I see correctly that starting Friday is when that information will start to be available in the parent portal?
I would start checking it daily on Friday, and then it may turn on Friday or soon thereafter.
Good. So friends, if you've got questions about transportation, and probably the top one is where is my young person's bus stop? Make sure you're looking for that mailer. You're jumping into the parent portal. I know that as a district, as schools, sometimes we can bombard you with a lot of messages and information and all those auto dials. Boy, this is an important time of year to listen to everyone, to read all of them, because there's so much important information coming to make sure that your young person gets to school safe, that you and all of us are ready to be all in for that first day of school. Thank you to our transportation team.
Thank you.
In each of our buildings, we are trying to make sure that all of the spaces are ready to serve our young people, and that includes in our cafeterias. Our food service team has been preparing to make sure that we are ready, starting on day one, to serve those healthy breakfasts and lunch to all young people. Joe Brown is our director of food services. Mr. Brown, share a little bit about just the preparations that your team have put in place.
Thank you, Scott, and good evening, everybody. As many of you know, we've been feeding our community throughout this pandemic, and we are very excited to get back and have healthy and freshly prepared meals for our students back in the schools. We're working to get back to the pre-pandemic breakfast and lunch as much as possible, but we know we have to keep everybody safe. I saw many questions in the chat about what will lunch look like, and there's not a one-size-fits-all answer to that question. Since all of our schools are a little different, we have different cafeteria layouts, a different number of students in different buildings. You can't have a cookie cutter answer to that question, but we are working with the administration and the staff in each and every building to provide the best and safest possible experience for your students. Some items are standardized, though, as Scott has talked about before and continues to be said. Our staff in the food service department will be wearing their mask. Hand washing has always been important, but it continues to be a focus for us. We're going to continue to sanitize those surfaces, and we're going to work to maintain the 3 foot of distance between students and staff as much as feasible. So we are excited. We can't wait to have everybody back, and we're looking forward to an exciting 21-22 school year. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. And again, a lot of credit goes to you and your team for making sure that families across our district during the summer, during the entire time that we were in that blended model when students were at home, making sure that access to food was never an issue. And so we really appreciate all that you did to make sure our families had that access, even at times when typically we might not have been able to serve them directly. So thank you. All right, friends, you heard Mr. Brown say that, every building is a little different. I can tell you this, though, that Dr. Dixon has made it clear to all of our principals that those buildings are going to be ready on that first day to make sure that we can welcome every young person back. So, you know what, we thought it would be important to kind of check in on how are our buildings ready. Now, again, every building's a little different. There's some work still going on in some of our buildings. There are building teams from our operations teams that are working almost around the clock to get those buildings ready to go. But boy, for the most part, they're looking good. They are in shape and ready to welcome back our students. But you don't want to just hear it from me. Let's talk to some of our principals across the district. So we've invited several of our principals to join us to tell us a little bit about how their building is ready to welcome back students and any things that they have in place to share. I'm going to begin with Cheryl Jones, who is the principal from East Linden. Share with us a little bit about what your building looks like. Is it ready for that first day? And how do you plan on welcoming students back?
So good evening, Columbus City Schools community. It's a pleasure to serve at the East Linden Elementary School. And we are very excited, very grateful for your return. We are ready and we are all in. And so I just want to first say that health and safety are our #1 priority. Our staff is very equipped with our instructional and curricular objectives. And I just want to tell our families, please don't hesitate to contact our schools. We are here to serve and we are ready to serve. And we are so excited to have them in our presence and to assist them as we get ready to welcome back our students and all of our students. At many of our schools and at East Linden specifically, we will have a virtual parent orientation. And I also am very responsive to our families. And so we have contact numbers through our Google Voice. So I just want to say thank you for your support to all of our families here in the Columbus City Schools. And thank you, just for the grace that you continue to give us in service to this community.
Principal Jones, you said something that I thought was really, really good to hear. And that's this idea that, our buildings, that there are teams there now, so they may be able to reach out now. And when teachers return on Monday, there are those opportunities to reach out, and our buildings welcome that. They want to hear from families to make sure everyone's ready on that first day, correct?
Sorry, I had to unmute. That is correct, that our administrative teams and a lot of our teachers are starting to come into our schools. We've seen almost, a large percent of our staff. And we've had, a long summer, a busy summer, but it is a pleasure for us to help in advance. So feel free to reach out to us, to the building leaders. We're here to help you and to help support our families in the community. And we can also connect other services. As Dr. Bodie talked about our social emotional health, it is important that we continue to work with our community agencies and supports around health and around our mental health, and helping to support our families is very important.
And Principal Jones, your school, along with a lot of our other schools, I know our other principals will touch upon, you've done a great job of really identifying, making sure those partners are there. Any particular, any one thing you're most excited about this coming school year, something new or an initiative that you've got planned? Can you give us a little sneak peek of what might be to come?
Sure. So I just want to say that East Linden was recognized last year as a Hall of Fame school due to the support that our staff delivers daily to our school community. And I'm looking forward to really having more contact with our families, like with us coming back these full 5 days. And so it may sound simple, but yet it's real, that I think it's important that we continue to focus on parent engagement and really meeting the needs of our diverse learners at East Linden. So just look forward to a lot of excitement and a lot of things wrapped around supports with social emotional learning, and continue to work with the City of Columbus. Specifically, we work a lot with the Columbus Cure Coalition and working together with Nationwide to really help support our families in the services that they need.
Thank you for sharing that. Again, as we heard our academic team talk about those academic priorities, we know that an important part of this school year is going to be supporting our young people, their social, emotional, their mental health, as well as their physical health. So thank you for sharing that. Let's travel over to Salem Elementary. Principal Nikki Myers is also here tonight. Principal Myers, boy, we are just days away from the start of this new school year. What has you most excited?
Well, I'm most excited to see all of our students and our families. I'm very excited that we have been planning and working together as a staff. And our theme for this year is success is our superpower. So we're going to welcome our students back in on that first day with a clap in, and students might even get to see some superheroes, we're hoping. And we're going to spend that first week, our mascot is the Sharks, and we are going to spend that first week each day, a little portion of the day, helping our students to understand what it means to be a safe Salem Shark. We have students all back into the classrooms, and so we want to make sure they know how we're going to go to the restrooms, go to cafeteria, line up, and observe all those safety protocols. And then the other thing that I'm most excited about is that we are going to have a 30-minute intervention period every day for reading and math. So it's actually intervention and extension, but that is going to be the time during the school day that we are going to work with our children to help fill in those gaps and extend the learning for the other students. So we're just all in and excited, and it's great to be a Salem Shark.
You used that word extension, and we heard again our academic team really talk about that, how we extend the learning time, how we really recognizing that, you know, last year was rough and we missed a lot of time, especially that great valuable time where our teachers were with our young people. And so those ways in which we're extending that learning time, not just with our teachers, but also at home. You are a great example of how you've always been great about sharing supports with our families to make sure that they have some of those tools at home to be able to kind of extend that learning at home too, correct?
Yes, that is correct. One of the things, we have two awesome partners in our community that work with us. We have two churches, and once a month, we have family dinners where our families came in. This year, we're actually planning to prepare dinners that they'll take home. We're going to put everything, all the ingredients in a bag. They're going to take them home, prepare it, and then they're going to jump on a Zoom call. And we're going to share, we have a social emotional learning practitioner this year. So she's going to share some tips and different things that parents can do at home. And then we have our academic team that will share academics as well. So they'll get to prepare their dinners at home. We'll have Zoom meetings with different rooms, and it's going to be exciting. It'll be new for us. But the other thing that's most exciting is that we have a garden, and we're working with our partners to put some fall crops in, some greens and different things that'll be ready for our October parent meeting. So they'll actually get to take home some of the things from our garden. So it's very, very exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
We are too. Thank you so much for sharing that and then thinking about those ways that we support our families. All right, another principal who has really done great about connecting with families and community is Principal Andre Jones over at Northgate Intermediate. Principal Jones, boy, we are excited to welcome young people back to your building. What all you got planned for them?
I am very excited, Scott. Thank you. And I'm hearing what Ms. Jones and Ms. Myers talk about their schools. So I'm going to do my wolf howl. We're the Northgate Wolves, established in 2016. We are the only intermediate 4th and 5th grade school in the district. Oh, I am looking forward to this tomorrow. Tomorrow, parents, you're going to get a robocall from me in about an hour. Tomorrow, we have our robust virtual parent meeting orientation that we are going to present to our parents and our students so we can go over everything for them to be prepared for our school year. We're going to talk about our philosophy of our school and then also focus on this. This is very important. I know Nikki was talking about this. There are 3 things that we focus on, and this is prior to the pandemic. We focus on, in order, student safety. If they feel safe, they know that they're being taken care of, walking to school, getting off the bus. We make sure that they're safe. We check that off. We also check about, we make sure their well-being. Did they get something to eat? Did they sleep? They play video games all night and they didn't get an opportunity to sleep. Well, you need to take a nap for 15 minutes. Make sure you're okay before you go to class. And once we check off your safety and your well-being, then you're ready to be in that classroom to learn. And our students, you will love it here. One thing we focus on here is our planners, because our main goal is to get our students ready for middle school. We only have 2 years with our babies, and we've been doing a great job of getting them prepared to transition into middle school. So we're looking forward to that. And then also, it doesn't stop there. On Tuesday, September 24th, and thank you, Scott. Thank you, Dr. Dixon. Thank you, United States Soccer. We are the second school in the district that has a mini pitch soccer field donated by US Soccer, as well as the Columbus Crew. So this summer we had our ribbon cutting ceremony, but we only had a small percentage of kids that could attend. On Tuesday, safe distancing, mask, we are inviting our parents to come out and share in this wonderful mini pitch field that we have in our outside our school, as well as get an opportunity to meet our teachers, learn about what we do here at the school, as well as get an opportunity for ice cream. So again, you're going to hear a lot about that tomorrow. I was afraid to give out too much information because if they hear it tonight, they may not want to come tomorrow. I know about Miss Jones and Miss Myers with the Amazon stick and watching movies before they come out. Yeah, I'm joking with you. But parents, please make sure you come out tomorrow night. I'm about to put another robocall out. Email, it's on our website. And again, all the information you need to know about the start of the school year so you are prepared on Thursday, August 26th. I'm looking forward to it.
There it is. Thank you so much, Principal Jones, for sharing that. Now, parents, I know you're listening to this wondering, gosh, what's my school doing? How are they going to do something similar? As we heard, reach out to your building now. Take the opportunity, visit the website, maybe make a phone call or a visit over there, especially as more of our staff are starting to return. Teachers report back to the classroom on Monday. Information is coming out from your school. As you heard Principal Jones say, I hope I get that robocall because I know that excitement is going to be in there. So make sure you're listening to that. Listen for those opportunities, those parent meetings that are coming up because they're all so very important. This is the time that you really got to listen for that phone and read those emails because important information is coming your way. Okay, I've got two more principals I want to hear from to hear how their buildings are ready. Let's move up to middle school and hear from Sherwood Middle School's principal, Sheila Evans. Miss Evans, what's this year going to look like for our middle school students at Sherwood?
Good evening, Scott, and good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Sheila Evans. I'm the proud principal at Sherwood Middle School. We are extremely excited to have our kiddos back in the building, and it's going to be a little different. Our seventh graders will probably feel a little bit like the sixth graders because they really haven't been in the building very long. So we've had staff in the building already for the past 2 weeks. They have been amped up and preparing the building. The classrooms are looking great already. They are ready to go. Our administration is excited to welcome all of our students back. I'm also excited that we will finally be able to have some visitors in the building to see our wonderful mural that we had painted in the spring when we collaborated with the Harmony Project. So we have that. We have a Peace Garden that our 8th graders last spring also dedicated to the building in the front of the building. We are looking forward to not only, as the rest of my colleagues mentioned, making sure students are safe and well prepared, the well-being and ready to go, but we also want to tap into some other skills as well and bring out their creativity, whether it's through music, art, poetry, whatever skills that they want to express. That's what we're looking to do. So if school could start tomorrow, we'd be ready to go. Parents, if you missed our virtual orientation, we did have it last night, but the information is posted in your parent portal. The main office is open Monday through Friday from 7 to 3:30. Feel free to reach out to myself or a secretary, and we will get you the information that you need. But we are thrilled to finally have our students back in the building.
Principal Evans, will you talk a little bit too? Again, one of the great things about your building, the community that you've built there, is really being supportive of the young person and the family, recognizing that to make sure that our families to make sure our students are successful, we need to make sure our families feel supported, feel connected, that they're successful as well. Talk a little bit about those ways in which you're really supporting our families.
Well, first of all, we talk to one another in our building as fam. So anyone who is connected with Sherwood, they are a part of our family, whether they're there 5 days a week or once every other week, if they're visitors just coming in. So we focus on making sure that everyone feels welcome when they dawn our doors, and anything that we can do to assist a student or their family, whether it's academically, if it's something personal in their home, we are going to do our very best to make sure that they get the support that they need. Teachers go out their way to make sure that their students in their classroom, or just Sherwood students in general, feel that they have a place and people that they can go to if there is a need. And I believe our parents feel the same. Ms. Hughes, if you're on the call today, it was a pleasure meeting you earlier this afternoon, a new parent coming to our building. So if you have questions, because I know there are probably some concerns with COVID and just the unknown again for this school year, but if you do have concerns, please call us, email us. We are here to assist any way that we can.
Again, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, one more school I want to get to, and I saved this one because our principal, she is a new principal to the building, and I want to give her a time to hear kind of what others are doing, because I know she's going to bring it home, talking about all the great supports. Principal Jennifer Hutton at Hubbard Elementary. Principal Hutton, boy, you've heard all these other principals talk about what they've got planned. Tell us about your excitement for this new school year and the new position you have.
I am so excited about the school year, and I'm excited to be at Hubbard Elementary. Staff has already been coming in and prepping, and everything that I've heard about them has been true, and they are absolutely fantastic, and they're so ready to welcome the kids back in. I know letters are going home. They already started this week to invite people out on the 25th from 5 to 7 to our Meet the Teacher Night. I know it's a concern for families about keeping safe, so we're going to hold everything outside, weather permitting. And then we also have instructions in there how we're kind of breaking up our families so that we could just have less people around and make sure that we have enough room to social distance and everything. We have been talking a lot about safety, and we know that's at the, right at the top of the parents' minds. We've talked about distancing in the classroom, making sure we have 3 feet, keeping things one-way stairways, and just making sure that our kiddos are safe. That's the #1 priority. So they will have water bottles. We're going to make sure that, even with our lunch, I saw that pop up in the questions, our breakfast and lunch, we're kind of minimizing how many kids may be in the lunchroom, and we're going to utilize some of the classrooms and even some outdoor space, weather permitting, so that we can just kind of spread people out and keep our kiddos as safe as possible. But we're really excited. The staff is so pumped to have everybody back, and I just can't wait to see what the year is going to bring.
Well, we are excited to have you as the principal at Hubbard, and we're so excited to kind of see what the new school year brings. Okay, I'm going to ask you if you would reiterate what we heard from our academic team about Chromebooks. What is it that every student and family needs to know about Chromebooks?
You're asking me?
Yep.
Okay, make sure that you're bringing them in and they're charged and they're ready to go, because that's going to be our lifeline.
Charged and ready to go. Not only the Chromebooks, but our young people, because we are all in. Principals, thank you so much for sharing what you're doing at your buildings, because that really gives our families an opportunity to hear about things that they may not have realized are going on in their buildings. Parent nights, virtual sessions, open houses, meetings that are going on now, information that's coming out now. So families, I encourage you, if these weren't one of your principals, check in with your principal, because I bet they're doing similar things, because our principals really are always talking to each other, learning from each other, pulling in those great practices. So principals, thank you so much for sharing information. All right, friends, we're kind of coming up to the end of our session. A couple of things I want to remind you, because we are all in engaging our families this year. That's why we made sure to start these virtual sessions early, so that families, you can be ready and prepared. So what else are we going to do to make sure you're ready and prepared for that first day? On Tuesday, Tuesday of next week, we have our next virtual family engagement session. We're going to be talking technology. You heard about Chromebooks a little bit tonight, but we're going to be talking about those technology tools that we have in place to help both our students and our parents. So we'll talk about Clever. We'll talk about iReady. We're going to talk about Bus Bulletin. We're also going to talk about a new tool for all of our middle and high school students, a homework help tool that they'll be able to access 24 hours a day. So they shouldn't be doing homework at 11 o'clock at night, but if they are, there's going to be virtual help for them. So make sure you think about joining us on Tuesday to hear more about these technology tools. And then on Thursday evening, we're going to invite some more of our principals to really give us a first day check-in. How did that first day go? And it'll be an opportunity for our families to also share information about how their first day went. Let's all kind of talk about how the first day went, what we can learn from the first day and improve upon to make sure that every day is as exciting and as successful. I'm going to encourage all of our families to RSVP, but if you were a part of tonight's session, if you received the link for tonight's session, you'll automatically receive the link for these next two. So you don't have to worry about RSVPing again. I'm going to send the link to each of you again because you were here tonight, so we can make sure to keep you informed because we appreciate all that you do to be all in. And one more reminder, make sure you visit the website. We have updated this website to make it even easier to find the information you need. So get into that website and really look. Boy, Dr. Dixon, you heard all of that excitement. We have a district full of people who are all in and ready for this new school year.
Yes, thank you, Scott. I'm just getting excited every time I hear from one of the principals. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go to that school on the first day, but I know I cannot. Families, we are excited about your students coming back, and they're coming back in safe environments. Please, please make sure you send them with the Chromebook charged and with their mask. It's very important that we're complying to all these mitigated strategies that we have in place. They are to keep your child safe. So please, also don't forget, your student is 12 years or older, they can be vaccinated. So please, vaccination is the key. All of our staff members, and we want all of our staff members to be vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. So it is important that we keep our masks. We have vaccinations as an option for our families. And we please hope we have Dr. Sarah Bodie here and others from Nationwide Children's Hospital who will walk you through that process so that you are comfortable. I'm excited. Look at all these people that are here tonight that are here to support your students. Regardless of the school that they attend, it is going to be a warm, welcoming environment that's going to be full of rigorous learning in a safe school. So I'm excited. I'm excited that you join us here tonight. Please don't forget to check out the website. There's so much information on the district website. And please don't forget those calls and letters from your specific school building. Those principals and staff have worked hard to put information for you. So please don't forget to check your emails, your mailbox, and listen to those robocalls. I know that could be a lot, but just take a few minutes to listen to the robocalls. So thank you for this opportunity, Scott. Again, you've had a wonderful family engagement session for our families. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dixon. And as you have emphasized, this is the year that we're going to make sure that our families are all in, that they feel engaged, that they're a part of the success of their young person and the success of what we do in this district. Friends, you heard a lot of great information. I know there may be some questions we didn't get to. Again, there's been a link that's been running through the chat that will allow you to share some of those questions we may have not gotten to. We'll be thinking about those as we do our next session before the start of school on Tuesday, but then also on that first day, giving us a chance kind of after we've all made it through that first day to go back and think through it. So make sure you share those questions with us. You'll see the link coming through the chat. You also, as I said, heard a lot of information. Please share what you heard. You know other parents who probably have these same questions. Share what you heard tonight. Encourage them to join our sessions next week or to go back and watch the recording of this session so that they get that same information. Let's make sure every family feels that they have the best information possible so that we can make this a best school year, because as it says, we are all in. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this session, and we look forward to a great new school year. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you very much.